What's up? Who got on Best Playing TV today?
Mannchester from Inglewood.
Inglewood? So talk about how you got the name Mannchester. What's that mean?
Mannchester is actually a popular street in Los Angeles that connects the east and the west side. It runs through, Inglewood, the heart of it. Me being from Inglewood, the name kind of, came about from that boulevard. Crenshaw and Mannchester is a famous intersection where, my homeboys are known to hang out at.
Okay. So, you say you grew up in Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
Talk about life in Inglewood.
Life in Inglewood was cool. Growing up, it's like any other city. You got your crime, you got your love, you got hate. You got good dudes, you got bad dudes. It's a little bit of everything. I grew up playing sports, and then running in the streets and banging. So, like any other inner city.
Talk about sports. What sports were you playing?
I played football and basketball.
What positions?
Receiver, safety, and I played the 3, small forward.
Small forward, and so, what about football and basketball stood out to you?
For me, it just gave me something to do, other than to escape my reality, what I had going on at home, how my living situation was. So for me, it just gave me something to do to stay out of trouble from going to juvenile hall. To be honest.
Okay. So I know you did 14 years in jail. Can you talk about what happened?
Yeah, I went to prison for attempted murder. Right. Just the streets, living in the streets. All the shit that go on in the streets, that come with the streets, that lifestyle that people talk about. I lived it. So I guess that's kind of the essence of what caught. What got me all that time.
How old were you when you got sentenced? Went to jail for attempted murder.
I was 20. I was 20 years old.
So you're not even fully grown yet. So talk about how your mindset when you find out you faced an attempted murder.
The mindset of going through it is kind of it's tough. You go through a lot of emotions, a lot of changes, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of different feelings. But with this life that we live, if you don't understand what comes with it, then you're playing. You're naive. So I understood at a young age what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I knew the consequences. So for me, it was like, okay, we're going to fight it. And whatever the outcome is, I'm going to keep my chest poked out and my head up high.
Did you ever have time where you was damn, I might not ever see light again?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How were you able to handle that?
Just keep waking up every day and just knowing that no matter what happened, you got to go through it. You can't cheat it, you can't run from it, you can't kick, you can't scream, you can't cry. It just kind of is what it is. So you just got to keep going to court. You know what I'm saying? Keep believing in the process and what you're doing, fighting, learn as much as you can about your case. I mean, that's all you can do.
Right. How were you able to keep your head up for the 14 years while doing time?
My kids.
Kids?
Yeah, my kids.
How many kids you got?
I got 3.
3? What age?
16, 14, and 13.
So how were they able to keep you up in jail? And some people's damn, they shouldn't be worried about me. You're probably fighting in jail. What's going on? What's your mindset like?
It was my motivation, knowing that I had to get back to them, knowing that there was kids that I was responsible for that I couldn't be there for. Mm-hmm. So that superseded anything that was going on in prison, anything I wanted to do for myself, because I wasn't living for myself no more. Prior to going to prison, it was just all about me. 17, 18, 19, I could shoot at people, I could do this and that, I could rob, because I wasn't necessarily concerned, because it's about myself. I didn't give a damn about myself. But once having kids, it was it gave me a reason to want to live for something other than just me.
What did jail teach you? What did jail teach you during your 14 years?
Jail itself didn't teach me nothing.
It didn't teach you nothing?
What jail did, it gave me the opportunity to learn myself and grow. It gave me the opportunity to use that time to learn myself, what makes me tick, what makes me go, what motivates me, what drives me, and what slows me down.
Okay. So I know in one of your songs you said you had $1 million dream while sitting independence like that. Talk about some of the ideas you were coming up with about sitting how'd you feel you were gonna change your life? How did you feel you were gonna change your life once you came back out here?
By just doing it, having a plan and then doing it. That's what I'm doing now. I came home, I started 3 businesses. I work for myself. I've been home 2 years. I ain't had a job, no 9 to 5. It's a grind. It takes sacrifice and discipline, but you know, I executed all those dreams and ideas that I had on paper, and I came and I made them manifest into reality when I came home.
Do you ever get that gut feeling like I want to go back to the streets, you know, because it's something you're used to?
I'm always in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
Now, as far as like game banging and stuff like that,
what I tell people with that is my mindset is different. So what I attract and the energy I attract now is different. I'm always gonna be Mannchester from Inglewood. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? I can't deny that. I can't hide that because I've been that person too long. Too many people know me as that. So to ever say that, oh, I'm not Mannchester or you're not so and so, I'm always gonna be associated with my gang and my set and all that. So for me, it's like my mindset is different. It's my job to show you somebody different opposed to who I was before.
Okay. And do you ever go back to like the young kids and tell them like that's not the route? Like how you guide kids now?
Absolutely. I go back and I speak to the youth, to junior highs, high schools, stuff like that.
Yeah, I see you doing a lot of like appearances at school. Talk about what you talk about, but what do you tell them?
That life is about choices. I give them the real. One thing I don't do is I don't sugarcoat nothing. Because I believe life ain't gonna sugarcoat it for you. My mom was shot in the face when I was 9 years old. So that wasn't life sugarcoating it for me. She didn't die of cancer slow. She was murdered. Went to the club one night and never came home. So for me, my approach when I'm telling people is not to sugarcoat it. Give them to them raw and real, because sometimes that realness is what they need. Because too much in life and school, they sugarcoating shit with books and not giving you all the information. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I want my message to be real.
You said sugarcoat in school. Talk about what do you think they sugarcoat in school? Like what's some
a lot of things. History. You know what I'm saying? The effort they give in the teaching in the inner cities. You know, I was fortunate one time in my life in high school to go to a college prep school in Tucson, Arizona. Nothing but white kids. You know, and the education was so difficult. I went from having a 3.8 GPA to, you know, barely a 2.0 because the education was that much harder. I then went back to a public school in the inner city and went right back to a damn near 4.0. And that's only because we behind. So our education is second rate. We having a second rate education, so they sugarcoating the knowledge, giving us the things and the tools that we need to be successful. They teaching us how to be employees instead of employers.
So you said you had 3 businesses, right?
Yeah. You
want to go into it? What are some of the businesses you have?
First of all, I have a label. I have a studio, and I have a car business. I got my dealer's license. I started a car business. So those are the businesses that I'm running right now with a few things. I do merchandise and everything, you know, but that's all part of my label.
So you say label. Talk about what made you want to start a label. What's it called? Like, what's some of the artists on it?
Right now it's just myself. It's Rare Urban Music. That's an acronym for my initials. My initials is REM, Robert Earl McClinton. You know, and I named my label that Rare Urban Music. I spell urban with an E. And what made me want to do that is because I wanted to be responsible for my music destiny. I wanted to be in control of the music I put out and how I wanted to do it. So I learned everything about the industry, contracts behind, you know, and how to push yourself, how to brand yourself. And it's like, damn, why pay somebody else and let them eat off of my hard work when with just a little hard work and sacrifice, I can do it myself.
Were you reading like a lot of books, or were you like doing a lot of research on the internet? How were you coming up with like
books, man, books. I would have my people send me in different types of books, business books. I got a business degree while I was in prison. So I was already business savvy. So just learning about the industry just helped me put things in perspective.
You also say you have like a studio. Talk about what's your studio, how you came up, how you learned about that too.
Oh man, studio is crazy, man. When I first came home, because I never rapped prior to going to prison. You know, I just hustled and, you know, and gangbang, ran the streets. So coming home, knowing that this is what I wanted to do, I jumped in the studio, rented a lot of time from people, and I had to learn this process. I had to learn how to engineer and all those things. So I sat back and I watched. And so for me, it's like I want to cut the middleman. So the engineer is the middleman. So let me learn this. Let me figure out how to work these Pro Tools. Oh, you do this, you do that. So once I learned it and I got it, it's like, man, now I can run my own studio.
So talk about what do you need in the studio? Like what? How do you like engineer? Do you like to like punch in? Like do you like somebody doing it for you, or do you like to do it yourself?
I record myself. It just depends. When I'm in my studio, I'm in my comfort zone. So for me, it's like I got a routine. So I record myself, I mix myself, and everything. So for me, that's how I like it.
And you also got a car business. Talk about that.
Yeah, man, I got my dealer's license a few months back. It's still kind of new. It's just a grind, just a different way to recycle my money to have residual income. You want to have multiple streams of income. You don't have to be making $10,000, $20,000 here. If you have several streams of income coming in, 800 here, 700 here, 1,000 here, it all add up. So the car business just came about. It's just another hustle. It's a way for me to still be able to use my time and still be able to make money as well as do my music without all my day being tied up sitting at an office somewhere.
So now you said you wasn't rapping before you went to jail, right?
Nah.
So did you start rapping like in jail?
Yeah, I started rapping while I was in prison. About my last 20 months, my boy used to always get at me like, man, you could rap. Like I freestyle in the day room, shit, we get high, or something just fuck around, and he would always be like, man, dude, you dope. Like you telling stories and shit, you don't even realize it. Like you just reflecting on it. I'm like, man, I just be fucking around.
Yeah.
So one day I picked up the pen, man. I ended up in those 20 months. I ended up writing like 700 songs.
700 songs.
Yeah, I got them right here in my bag.
Oh, that's 700 songs.
Yeah.
So talking about your process. You hear like a beat in your head, like 'cause you writing this while in jail, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's going through your mind when you just writing just telling different stories?
It was different phases because I was in the beginner phase where I had to learn. So I would just tap on the bunk. And you know what I'm saying, and rap. I had to learn how to rap. I had to learn what 16 was. I had to learn how to not only tell a story, but tell a story in a way to where it's not just me talking to myself or about myself, where other people can fit in the story, where other people can say that's me in that part of the song, or so on and so on. So it was more so a process of learning. I was making videos. I had a phone and a pen.
Yeah, phone.
Yeah, so I started making videos. The first few was, I ain't gonna lie, it was rough, in the beginning. But for me, it was the process. I wasn't afraid what people thought because it wasn't about them. It was about me.
Was you better on people like independent?
Nah, never that. I've never been that type of dude. For me, it's like my music is my message. It's my story. It's what I'm talking about. It's how I'm feeling at the time. So it's never against nobody to compete. Never been in a battling. That ain't never been my thing.
Alright, so when you was like, you say you trying to tell people your story, right? Was there anybody that influenced you to make music, as far as, or just killing time?
Two people I would say. My brother, he died in '96. He was my older brother.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thank you. He wanted to rap. That was always his dream. I got a verse on my first project, My Truth. My brother died in the crash coming back from Vegas. It was his dream to be a rapper, so we traded places. I never asked for this life, I just had to take it. I got my city and my family counting on me to make it. So my brother was like that influence, because this was always his dream, it was never me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the roles are reversed and I get to live his dreams, you know what I'm saying, as well as mine. My dream has always been being able to put myself in a position to take care of my family, to leave a legacy to my kids. It just so happened that music is going to be the catalyst for that. And my other influence is Pac. It's Tupac. There's no for me, no bigger influence, no person bigger than Jordan, any athlete, Pac, because my mom, like I said, died in '93 and my brother died in '96. If you look at Tupac's career from about 91, 92 to 96 when he died, listen to the albums. His music told the story of my life. Everything I was going through at home, all the emotions and the kids, I could put on Pac album. He was talking to me.
Talking to you. When you said your mom and your brother died, would you say that caused you to just turn up in the streets, go crazy wild? Is that why you didn't really have no remorse for other things, or?
It contributed to it, I believe. I wouldn't say it was the source. It was the total source, because I grew up in a time in an environment where I saw shit every day, to where in my mind I was programmed to believe it was normal. So it wasn't just like, okay, well, my mom died, so now fuck it, I don't care. Well, before she died, my mom used to hustle. My uncle sold dope. All my uncles gang bang, pops gang bang. my aunties gang bang. Like,
so you were just born into it.
I hate to use that term, born into it. It was just, that was my environment. That's what I saw every day. I was programmed to think that carrying pistols was okay. Shooting at people was okay. We talked about it as if it was in a manner as if it was okay. Like what we did was nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I was programmed to believe way before those events. Those events just helped, you know what I'm saying, more like icing on the cake, or we tip the scale, however, whatever analogy you want to use.
So now, like, when did you come home? What year did you come home?
2017.
2017. How did you, like, you did 14. How was, like, life different, like, from when you first went into now? Technology.
Fucking technology, man.
So when you got that first iPhone in your hand, how did that feel?
Technically, I had my first iPhone in prison.
Oh, prison, yeah.
I got to use one. But coming home, frustrating. Yeah, it was too much going on. It's a lot. You know, I left when, you know, chirping was still going on. We were still chirping.
What year was that again?
2004.
2004, okay.
Yeah, you know, we still had chirps and all that going on, running around in the streets. So to come home where now people can FaceTime you is like watching the Jetsons as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So technology was like the biggest shock for me coming home.
What about as far as like music wise? Like who were like first? Like who are some people you seen like they were doing their thing as far as on the rap shit? 'Cause you said Tupac like helped you out. What about now?
Now it's a lot of cats, man. It's a lot of cats doing big things for themselves, their family, and their area. You know, I can't say that I listen to a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little old school, so I'm a little leery who I anoint or give my ear to. You know, but I listen. There's a lot of young cats out here that's dope. Like I fuck with Kendrick, I fuck with J. Cole, like I fuck with Big Sean, you know what I'm saying, they music, you know, the West Coast movement. Like I'm a West Coast dude, so I'm a little biased, you know, when it comes to my coast.
So would you like to say that you like to listen to people that have like that are lyrical rappers and shit like that actually have a message?
Substance, more substance, not necessarily lyrical. It's all basis of opinion. For me, it's about substance. What you talking about? For me, when I listen to music, if I can't relate to it, it's hard for me to listen to it. You know, certain things I never did. I don't drink lean. So some of the shit that some cats rap about, it don't appease me. I don't relate to it. So you know what I'm saying? It go in one ear and out the other.
So my question was, a lot of rappers like they don't rap what they live. How do you react to that?
For me, it's like to each his own. You know, if that's what you choose to do. The only fucked up part about it is that, you know, depending on your platform, you feeding this to the youth. So if you rapping about shit you ain't never did, a life you don't lead, you misleading the youth. So the motherfuckers that are about it, you know, a lot of the shit you talking about that will go do it, they going to do it playing your music, and that ain't even who you are. So, you know, I guess, you know, I mean, if it gets you the bag, it gets you the money. But for me, it's like, if I ain't never lived it or seen it, experienced it, ain't no sense for me to talk about it.
So that's why you don't relate to like a lot of lean and all that shit going on and shit.
It's a lot of stuff I don't relate to. I never took Percocets. I never, you know what I'm saying? So some of those drugs, some of that shit, it don't, you know, I hear it and it's like, I don't even pay that shit no mind because it don't relate to me. It don't pertain to me.
So now, how did you come out with My Story in 2017, right? And you just got this new tape in 2019. How were you able to improve within that time?
Just learning how to make music, learning how to make songs, structure songs, the sound, the feel it gives people. You know, the music and the tracks you're making. It's easy to make music. You know, you can record a song a day. You know what I'm saying, every day for 6 months and still not have a dope album. So
what's dope music to you?
What's dope music to me?
Yeah.
Something that makes you feel. Something that moves your spirit. Something that makes you want to replay it or repeat it because you need to hear what they said again. That's dope music.
So on your Check Me Out mixtape, right? Was it a tape or was it an album?
EP.
EP?
Yeah.
You had Johnny Vulgar on there, right?
Yeah.
Talk about how that collaboration came about.
Oh, my boy Vulgar, man. Shout out to Johnny Vulgar, man. He's from Long Island. And that collaboration came about, man. I met him through my boy Doughboy and Polly Rob in the studio. He been coming out to LA back and forth for months now, shit, for over a year. And we've been vibing out, fucking around in the studio. And then one day, man, I called him up and told him to pull up, and it just kind of came about. I had the record already. I had did my verse and the hook, and I was just running through some records, and he was like, "Hey, man, press record. That's the one I want."
So, you know, somebody I really see work with a lot of artists as far as collaboration. Why is that?
Because I don't know a lot of these niggas.
You don't know a lot of these.
And I can't vouch for a lot of niggas. So for me, it's like I respect my name too much to just attach myself with anybody based on it to improve my numbers. You could be a fuck nigga. You could be a snitch. You can be I don't know you. I don't give a fuck how many followers you got, nigga. I don't know you. I don't know what you about. We might be in the studio, we might be out and something happen and you run. You might be a buster in your own hood, like I don't know you. So if I don't know you, it's hard for me to fuck with you.
So you're saying like no matter how much somebody came with you and do a song with like somebody that's not like say if he had he came with like a bag of money, right? But he's like a rat in his hood or something like that. Would you do a song with him?
We ain't even got nothing to talk about. I will not. My integrity is not for sale.
So how you feel about like the Nipsey Hussle situation? Like, were you tuned into him?
I was in prison during most of his career, most of his music, so I wasn't able to hear a lot of it. The situation is fucked up, you know, but it can happen to anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just a reminder that no matter how much good we want to do or what we want to give the world, when it comes to this gangbanging and this street life, I'm just going to say street life because it affects anybody in any city, Arkansas, New Jersey, I don't care where you at, you know what I'm saying? When you doing shit, you still got to remember that I once lived a life that was negative. I once did negative shit to people.
And people don't forget that.
So I got to remember at some point that negativity can come back to me. Even though I may have been changed, and even myself included. I can suffer the same fate in a different situation, different type of way because I dished out a lot of ignorance and a lot of pain in people. So I'd be a fool to believe that it can't never come back to me in no form.
You feel like this, the whole situation brought Bloods and Crips together and shit like that?
Am I what?
Do you feel like this situation brought Bloods and Crips together? It seems like a lot of people are united over the Nipsey situation.
I'm not sure yet. It's too early to tell.
Too early to tell.
You know, I think with social media, everybody wants instant gratification. So, you know, you could take a picture, you can have a conversation, you can do this, but it's like once the cameras leave, like with anything else, is what's going on. When the dust settles and the smoke clears, when it ain't no attention on it, where are you still pushing that same hard for that same piece? And that goes for anybody and everybody. Like I say, if we can get along with peace, you know, I'm for it. But I know with social media, it's a lot of ignorant people out there.
All right, so one thing is like you were a Blood, right?
Yeah.
Talk about how you got into becoming a Blood and shit like that. Like you just.
Shit, I'm an '80s baby, man. So for me, I'm a product of my environment. That's what my environment. I grew up around Bloods. My mama lived. That's the only places we lived. So that's what I knew. That's what I saw. If I grew up somewhere else, I'd probably be from somewhere else.
Did you like get jumped in? Like how was that process?
Yeah, that process I won't really touch on. That's you know, but there's always an initiation.
Right. Do you feel like that's kind of watered down like since then? Because you got guys like 6ix9ine that might be like jacking the blood and people are doing it for behind the clout.
I can't really speak about, you know what I'm saying, a lot of out of state Bloods and how the process and how the inner workings of it work, you know what I'm saying, and how it go in different, you know what I'm saying, cities, because it varied from city to city. He might have thought what he was doing was all right. He might have thought that's what really being a Blood is. You know what I'm saying? But where I'm from and how I was raised, where this shit originated at, is different rules and it's different politics. So what a nigga doing in another state, yeah, I can say that shit won't go on out here in LA, but yet it might be the norm in that city.
Right.
All because motherfuckers might not have had the true proper understanding on how you supposed to conduct yourself, how you supposed to do shit. And like I say, man, social media made it easy for any nigga to get in front of a camera and say he this or say he that.
How has social media helped your career out? Like, how you feel like that helped you out?
Just giving me a platform to have my voice heard.
Where do you see yourself within like the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself still grinding, still pushing.
Still pushing.
Because I'm never satisfied. I see myself, in more ownership roles, be it homes, property, real estate, commercial real estate, more businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just flourishing in my process, because it's a process. I got a 5-year process, 10-year, 15, 20-year, but it all take work, and it's all based on my grind now.
How do you keep yourself from going back to jail? I know you said your kids, but like what else keeps you? Like, do you stay in the studio? What happens?
My music, my kids and my music. I had to learn that time is very important, and it took me a long time to learn what you give your time to is what you become. Mm-hmm. What you give your time to is what you become. That's who you truly are. If you give all your time to a female all day, every day, that's what you are. If you give your time to the streets, to your hood, to your set, that's who you are and that's what you are.
So, what would you like to tell somebody about you that they didn't know about you? Why should they listen to your music?
If you want to hear some real shit, man, from a dude who lived a life that niggas glorify, niggas perpetrate about, who actually done it, who doesn't advocate the violence but touch on it and touch on some real shit that you may be going through and feeling, that's why you should check out my music.
How you feel about the West Coast scene right now? How you feel about everybody blowing up?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited just period, for music period, but the West Coast, it's a lot of big things, man. It's a lot of dudes that's up and coming, that's getting recognition. So it feel good period, regardless where you from.
Is there anybody you want to work with from this scene?
It's a lot, man. Too many to name, man. It's too many to name. I ain't gonna lie. It's a few cats. So it's a few cats.
Have you worked with anybody so far?
Like who?
Like, just any cats from like LA, West Coast area?
Yeah, I've done a few features. I got a few songs. My boy Funk P out of Compton.
Yeah.
My boy Poupon, he a singer, producer, engineer, dude, crazy dope, talented, man, talented. Sean, the producer, Madoff Beats, man, a lot of producers. I've been mostly working with more producers than artists, just to hone my skills and my sound. You know what I'm saying? Before I go out and just jump on tracks and jump. Who is Mannchester the artist? I've been mastering that and getting that down pat for the last 2 years.
Like you said, like you're a rapper. Do you ever see yourself going to like the R&B lane trying to sing, or just?
No.
Why
I don't see that. First of all, because I can't sing. I don't know if I'm that good at engineering yet to be able to manipulate my voice to sound good enough to sing. But you never know. If music is a reflection of how you feeling, so how can I tell somebody they wrong or don't sound good? Shit, I've heard Lil Boosie sing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna Boosie, the shit come out on Kodak Black. I didn't heard him sing, you know what I'm saying? The shit sound crazy as fuck, but somehow it works. Right. So.
Is there anything you want to let anybody know, like how to get in contact with you? Like, shout out to anybody?
Yeah, check me out, man. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mannchester Muzik, Mannchester. Wait, damn, excuse me. Mannchester, Muzik, Muzik, YouTube. You can hit me on the gram, Mannchester_3, Mannchester_3.
Is there any beats you want? Are you looking for? Like, do you want a certain type of beats?
I don't have a particular sound that I look for. I just look for beats to challenge me.
So you talk about you got to speak to like judges and stuff at law schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, future up and coming lawyers and judges in law school. It was dope, man. My lawyer is actually a childhood friend of mine. He like family, and he reached out to me. Because we wanted to shed some light on some of the injustices that go on in the California prison systems with black male, how we make up only 3% of the state, but yet over 34% of the prison population is black males. So, I just wanted to go in there and give some perspective of what inmates go through, the type of things that, societies think. Once you go to prison, you getting all this, you getting education, you getting a chance to work, you getting a chance to be rehabilitated and all that, you getting to go to school, and it ain't always like that,
Did you deal with any injustice while in prison? Like, if you want to speak about it, or you like want to expose?
I mean, shit, everything about it is injustice. You know what I'm saying? The whole way of living, you know, having to strip naked and be searched at any given time and all, like, it's, man, I could go on and on.
If you could talk to like the governor, like what would you tell them, like something you want to change, like to make, not like, because prisons would be like a facility where you like learn and stuff like that, but instead of making they treat you like a slave, like what would you like to tell like the mayor or like the government? How would you like to improve the prison system?
Don't focus on just the dollar signs. Don't focus on the money. Prison is big business. It's a $1 billion industry. So as long as it's a $1 billion industry, when you start talking about billions, that puts you in a different category. So when you're talking about billions, you're talking about real money. So that means that's real people that's being affected. That's real bottom line. That's motherfuckers somewhere on the yacht being affected behind, you know what I'm saying, the decisions in that business. So I would tell the governor, don't focus on big business.
Mm-hmm. Like do you have any stories like where you deal with injustice in there, like that you want to expose?
Off the top of my head, no. Shit, it's like I say, it's too many to, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We could talk about the food. I mean, it's all kind of shit. You know, I done worked in the kitchen where, you know, they got food say not for human consumption, but yet they on the packaging, but yet they serving it to inmates. You know, shit like that.
What about out here, like as far as LAPD? Are they doing anything that you feel like injustice?
I mean, you know, look, I feel like any law enforcement, they serve agendas. So it all depends on what the agenda is that month, that quarter, or that year. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to say, are they all? No, I don't think all the LAPD are bad or injustice. I just believe that they were trained to do a lot of things that wasn't in the best interest for people that look like me.
So, you grew up in Inglewood your whole life, right?
Yeah, most of my life, yeah.
All right, that's what's up. All right, you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Man, shout out to my city, man, Inglewood.
All right.
Check it. Trials and tribulations, I'm just trying to live my life, hoping I make the right decisions, cause I wanna live it right. I remember nights, no sleep, feeling weaker than 7 days. Now I'm using my clever ways to make sure my songs getting played. But these niggas doubt me, they think I'm not gonna make it, but soon I'm gonna be rich and happy, and girl getting naked. I promise you I'm the best, Supreme Noxie, I'm on the rise, smoking dope and I'm getting high, spirit she floating to the sky. I wonder, is they go think I'm a joke because I'm a youngster, going for the green and they probably stunk in the bunker. I gotta make it, cause being broke is not really my comfort zone. I kill competitors.